Welcome to Board Game Boards, the show where we give you the how-to and review of today's top games.
I'm Lee.
And I'm Tom, and today we're looking at
Epidemic! Epidemic is a board game where 2 to 4 players, each with a particular set of skills, try to save the world from being ravaged by disease.
The players must work together in order to develop cures to the diseases before they spread out of control.
So let's throw on some gloves and aseptically determine.
You'll find a game board of the world, roll cards with matching pawns, research stations, and disease cubes.
You'll also find cure markers, infection rate and outbreak markers, and a bunch of cards we'll go over.
The game itself is pretty straightforward. Well, once you know how to play, it's straightforward.
Yeah, it might have taken us a few times to make sure we got the rules right.
But the important thing is we've got it now. We think.
We actually just won the other day for the first time.
And we were playing on easy mode.
But before we talk any more about how terrible we are at board games, let's learn the objective of the game.
Our goal is to discover a cure to each of the 4 diseases represented by these terrifying cubes.
With 1 way to win and 3 ways to lose, the odds are not in our favor.
Well, we could run out of disease cubes, we could run out of player cards, or we could have 8 outbreaks occur.
So let's set up the board and start saving lives.
To set up the board, we'll randomly pick a player card and set the matching pawn on the city of Atlanta, along with a research station. And why Atlanta?
Because Georgia is known for 3 things: peaches, pecans, and pandemics.
If you say so, but also because the Center for Disease Control, or CDC, has their headquarters there.
Yep, and the peaches.
Next, we'll take the player cards, remove all of the epidemic cards, and pass them out depending on the number of players.
This is where you adjust the difficulty of the game, which is pretty cool. Put back in 4 epidemic cards for an easy game, 5 for a tough game, and 6 if you hate the people of planet Earth.
Next, draw 9 infection cards from their deck. These are the starting points for the diseases.
Place 3 cubes in each of the first 3 cities, 2 in the next 3, and 1 in the last 3.
Start your infection rate marker and outbreak markers in their corresponding spots, and let's play.
Every turn consists of the same routine. Do 4 actions, draw 2 cards from the player deck, and infect cities.
They even printed it in the bottom corner of the board.
Which is a real nice touch for new players or those who forget quickly, like Goldfish or Tom.
And it's a real nice touch for those who forget quickly and new people.
Let's just show around.
You get 4 actions, which are explained on the reference cards provided.
After that, you draw 2 player cards, cities that help you find a cure, and events that are one-time use but help a lot. Hand limit 7 cards.
Now you're all in this together, so no reason to keep your cards secret.
In order to find a cure, you must have 5 of the same color card and then turn them into the nearest research center.
When you're done with that, you then infect cities.
Flip over a number of cards from the infection deck equal to the infection rate track.
Add 1 cube to each of the cities drawn.
Now let's talk about an epidemic.
When this card is drawn from the player deck, you must increase, infect, and intensify.
Increase the infection rate by moving the infection rate marker forward.
Draw the bottom card from the infection deck, infect that city with 3 cubes, and add it to the discard pile.
Intensify existing infected cities by shuffling the discard pile and placing it back on the top of the deck.
After all of this, you draw a card to infect cities just like normal.
I get epidemics, but what are outbreaks?
Outbreaks are when a city has 3 cubes and then gets infected.
All attached cities gain a cube, and the outbreak markers advanced 1 space.
This is where it can get tricky.
Any cities affected that already had 3 cubes then have their own outbreak that affect all touching cities that have not had an outbreak this player's turn.
For example, Cairo is drawn and it breaks. All surrounding cities get a cube, which causes Istanbul to break. So all touching cities except Cairo get another cube.
This can get out of hand quickly, and before you know it, you're out of cubes for that color and you've lost.
You win the game the moment you find all 4 cures.
You don't have to eradicate any of the diseases, but doing so keeps them from popping up in future infect city phases.
And you lose the game if the outbreak marker makes it all the way to the end.
Or if you run out of cubes because the disease has spread so much.
Or if you can't draw 2 cards from the player deck.
Or if they sink your battleship.
Wrong game.
Now, let's talk about some pros and cons. The gameplay is always unique due to random starting disease locations. Also, the roll cards provide immensely useful abilities that you end up using in conjunction with the other player's abilities. Now, the gameplay can get a bit confusing. Despite having an instruction book that lays out the rules beautifully and even contains a commonly overlooked rules section, we found ourselves having to interpret the instructions due to a certain lack of clarity. Final decision, however, buy.
Pandemic is our first fully cooperative game on the show, and this makes it especially unique because time is a factor. You're always working together every turn, so you're always engaged in the game. However, this could be considered a con by some people if you don't like people telling you how to play your turn. And if you're that person, go play Battleship. Final decision? Buy.
Well, that about does it for another episode of Board Game Game Boards.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Let us know what other games you'd like us to play in future episodes, and we will definitely, maybe, get around to playing them.
No, seriously, Tom, let's just think about this. It's just allergies. No, please.
Hey, I found the timer section in the rulebook. It stresses that it's more fun to use a timer. Quote, games with timers are simply more fun than games without timers.
And that's a science fact!
No! You get out of here! I'm sick of your ish! We have too many unnecessary characters on this show.
Now, I hear that you can take these cards and use them with friends for some kind of social interaction and entertainment. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tom, it's a card game.
Yes,
So.
yes. Now, if someone, not me of course, didn't know how to play this
Game?
yes,
Yeah.
right, how
All
would
right.
one do that thing you just said?